The Philippines is being continuously tested by the brunt of disaster impacts on communities and families. In this reality, we are all facing amid climate change, but also COVID-19, disasters happen with increasing frequencies and magnitude. With every catastrophe, people and communities are affected in many ways.
In times of vulnerability, people rely on their government for necessary guidance, protection, and assistance, fully expecting the government to have the required capabilities, resources, and expertise to deal with the crisis.
For the longest time, typhoons were not really that strong here. No? The location of Humaylan was a location that can be considered as safe from extreme scenarios like a super typhoon. But that didn't happen when Typhoon Odette came in Negros.
All of us want a, sabi nga, safe and resilient society. Many countries, kasama na po ang Pilipinas, struggle with recovery. Maraming challenges, di ba? Coordination with different stakeholders, funding sources, di ba? Identification ng mga priorities.
Rehabilitation and recovery after disasters continue to be a big challenge. At its core, the Ready to Rebuild program is addressing this gap by building the government's capacity to undertake disaster recovery right after volcanic eruptions, typhoons, and earthquakes hit. The Ready to Rebuild program is the first of its kind. It empowers communities to prepare, to respond and recover before disasters actually happen. It is about imagining the impacts of disasters and building a culture of preparedness so that in the event of a typhoon or earthquake, the communities are already 3 steps ahead and can immediately work towards a green, resilient, and inclusive recovery.
Because of the trainings, and especially with this recent training, yung R2R, because of the system in place and the people are well-trained already at this point, if a disaster happens, alam na kung anong gagawin. Hindi na at the time pa na when there is a disaster, tsaka na iisipin kung ano yung gagawin because there is already a template, a system. Gathering of data and reliability, it just took 3 days for the Typhoon Odette. Whereas before, it took us months.
We were able to identify risk financing strategy, and we were able to prioritize programs, projects, and activities that will address the needs of the community.
Na-identify po dito ng mga different agencies sa aming LGU ang kanilang function. Yung ibang stakeholders at saka mga NGOs, nalalaman din po nila ang kanilang role, especially sa disaster po.
The Ready to Rebuild program also empowers local governments to shift from reactive to proactive preparedness. Apart from this policy shift at the national level, we are also changing mindsets at the local and community levels. Building their capacity can significantly help in ensuring that communities can get back on their feet faster and become more resilient to face future disasters and crises.
Kasi dati when you speak of recovery and rehabilitation, what is important there is meron ka ng insurance for your buildings, vehicles. Parang yun na yun. Ngayon, nakita mo pala na there are a lot of things to consider or there are a lot of things that could be done with regards sa recovery and rehab aspect.
Yan, napakalaking tulong po ni R2R training sa amin dahil gumagawa naman kami ng rehab and recovery plan before R2R training pero masasabi namin wala po sa tamang ayos. Noong dumating naman si R2R, na-improve namin ang aming rehab and recovery plan gawa ng guidance at knowledge na nabigay sa amin ni R2R training po.
With the increased capacity that we had after the Ready to Rebuild program, our DRM staff are more confident in pushing through with our recovery and rehabilitation plan, ensuring that at the preparedness phase, we already have these plans and to ensure that in recovery phase, we will be able to answer the needs of every Bagonhons that needed our help.
At the end of the day, if we are centering on specific targets, on protocols that should be followed by the city government for extreme scenarios such as this, then nothing will go wrong. No? And that's why the Ready to Rebuild program is very essential, because at the end of the day, it will help us realize that there is a program that we can follow. There are protocols that we can follow. Because of this, no, we will believe in ourselves more that what we're doing is right for the people.
Before, ang alam lang natin, we bring them back to what they are before, normal, di ba? But now, we can at least say that the community would become better and more resilient with this program. Kaya talagang nagpapasalamat kami sa World Bank and OCD for this program.
Let me reiterate my challenge to all of you at the start of your training to persevere and always uphold our mission to build a safer, climate change adaptive, and resilient Philippines for this generation and the next.